Yes, good to see you, Dr. Abhishek. Please keep your cameras on, those who can.
Good morning, all of you.
Yeah. And welcome to the second session of the psychology of success. What we are going to discuss today is overcoming these psychological barriers to success. Often we think the barriers for success lie where? Where do our barriers to success lie? Anyone? And I would request if you can keep yourself unmuted today, because there is going to be a lot of discussion. So rather than going back and forth, you can just share your thoughts as we go along. As long as there is no background noise. If there is background noise, then of course you keep yourself muted. Otherwise, keep yourself unmuted and quickly share. Where do our barriers to success lie?
Most of the time, it's, I think, in our minds.
Absolutely brilliant, Anjana. Brian Tracy says 80% of our barriers to success lie inside of us rather than outside of us. We get caught up in thinking that my barrier is outside me, whereas it is inside us. So that is what we're going to explore more. And before that, we'll do a brief recap of what we covered in the last session. Anyone would like to read the first one and share their thoughts on this one, other than Anjana?
Success is 80% psychology.
Okay. And your takeaway from this, Dhruv, what resonated for you with this statement?
What I realized is a lot of times, while I may not be able to quantify 80% from an experience perspective, a lot of time what has happened is how we thought things actually materialized or moved in that direction. If we thought it is difficult, it is easy, then it easy. That's how typically happens.
Yeah.
There are exceptions, but a lot of times that is how things shape up.
That's a very interesting one, Dhruv, because I used to follow Swami Subodhanand. I still do sometimes. And there is one thing he says, whenever you face any difficulty, do like this. It's easy, it's easy, it's easy. And when you do, it's so funny, but it's so powerful. When we reframe our brain thinking it's easy, it actually, and this is something which I do with my daughters, especially the younger one, whenever she has to go for exam and she's like scared to hell, like hell. I tell her it's easy, and I ruffle her ears, and she goes and then she cracks the exam. So thank you for sharing that, Dhruv. Dhruv, whom would you like to call on next for the second one?
Abhishek?
Abhishek.
Well, sorry, guys. I mean, I was not able to go through the last video.
No
last
worries.
recording.
No worries, Dr. Abhishek. I'll fill. The state of being is what I realized when I went through a session with my friend, who later became my friend, Rohan Singhal, and mentor and well-wisher. And he talked about how important the state of being is. State of being is our mindset with which we work. It is like the मिट्टी. Okay, अगर मिट्टी सूखी होगी, आप उसमें कितने भी बीज डालोगे, उसमें प्लांट नहीं निकलने वाला. वो मिट्टी को फर्टाइल होना चाहिए, उसको उपजाऊ होना चाहिए. तो we put fertilizers, we put water, sunlight, and then the seeds that we put in sprout, right? So in my own case, what I realized was I had a very acidic state of mind, which is all the frustrations, anger, anxiety, and all of that. And when you have that state of mind, irrespective of how much efforts you are doing, it's not going to result into success. तो मैं मेहनत करते जा रहा हूँ, but उतना result नहीं आ रहा है. तो वो state of being बहुत important होता है. So that is the psychology, that is the state of being that we are talking about. So once I started working on my state of being, then everything started happening, very differently. Dr. Abhishek, whom would you like to call on next?
Actually, just a quick comment here on the state
Yes.
of being.
Sure, Dhruv.
Last week, what I observed is, because of some reason, I was very frustrated. I had time, but I realized towards Thursday evening, saying, 3 days I lost just because I was frustrated. I couldn't do anything, and just doing जो मतलब मजबूरी है, जरूरी है, बस उतना ही कर रहा था. बाकी ये लाइक जो समय था, I was not using it for my advantage. I knew was मेरे पास इतने सारे tasks हैं which can create a difference, but just because of that probably state of being or my mental state at that time, frustration, anger, anxiety, all of them together, then I'm like, ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ? When I realized at the Thursday evening is when I changed my mindset, and being aware made me do the change, but I had already lost 3.5 days in that time frame. Probably that's the state of being.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Dhruv. And that awareness, that's why this awareness is so powerful. When we are aware, we can make those changes. Otherwise, we just keep working in that state of being, and then we don't get the results. And that even drives more frustration. यार मैं मेहनत इतनी कर रहा हूँ, but result नहीं आ रहा है. So thank you for sharing that, Dhruv. Dr. Abhishek, does that make sense?
Very much, very much.
Okay. Dr. Abhishek, whom would you like to call on next?
Sindhuja.
Okay.
Sindhuja, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
So,
The third one.
sorry?
The third one, if you could read out the third one and your takeaway on that.
Okay. If you think like a successful person, you act like one. That I think is very true because this kind of, I can relate to it because as far as that emotional chart of like vibration was concerned, I would kind of not always be above courage. I would either do something out of let's see, let's try, I don't know, maybe these would be like these would be my sentences instead of yeah sure I'll figure it out, or let me start with it, we'll cross the bridge when we come to it. So I don't kind of act with courage and the so it makes a lot of sense to kind of believe once and act like you already know. By the sheer state of acting like you already know, sometimes the mind is able to kind of conjure the connections to make the entire thing right.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Sindhuja. So Sindhuja just talked about the energy levels associated with different emotions that we have. That's the work done by Dr. David Hawkins in his book, Power versus Force. One of the best books that I have read in my life, and I would recommend everyone to look up that book and buy it and read it. And what Sindhuja is talking about, so there are many levels, but 200 is the courage level, beyond which when you move, it's a breakthrough. Below that is emotions like shame, guilt, fear, anxiety, pride, anger, all of that. So, and that's a trap. So as long as we are in that, low energy emotion, it keeps us trapped there because thoughts are magnetic, and one negative thought leads to another magnetic thought, and we are forever there. So we need a breakthrough by going to courage, and that is what we talked about. One of the ways we can do it is by modeling what is called in neuro-linguistic programming modeling, we observe successful people and we behave like that so that we become like them. And all successful people are operating 200 and above. And what do successful people do? That's the next one. Sindhuja, whom would you like to call on?
I was not there in the beginning. Rosina,
Okay.
if she's not gone earlier.
No, she's here. Rosina is here.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Dhruv, I need to add to your point. Actually, not add to your point, but the way you presented it, it's like you didn't lost 3 days. Actually, don't use those words. because that will bring you back again into that state of being yeah, teen din chale gaye, 3 din chale gaye.
Hmm.
I hope we got you.
Yeah, sure, Rosina. Rosina,
Okay,
anything
and
about, yeah.
yeah, and the last week's session, what my takeaway was like, I have recognized my challenges, what I'm going through, and I have taken responsibility that whatever has happened in my life, it is my responsibility, and it was my actions, and it was my decision, and I have no guilt for that. But yes, certainly, it's just that I have to take one more step ahead to move into that particular zone where I'm finding that challenge, and I see that very soon I'll be overcoming that. So that's what I understood from the last class.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Rosina.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Anjana,
Who's left? Yeah,
Anjana, yeah.
Anjana. Yeah.
So actually, the takeaway from there and from hearing all my friends here, when we act like we know it, or the mindset is that okay, even if you're pulling a fast one, right? But since we are looking at making a success of ourselves, we will actually go that extra mile automatically to make sure we know it after the event. So the way it works when you're looking at how your mind or the psychology gets you to do things, you may not do it before. Like for example, I may not have prepped completely for a meeting, but then the minute I given some inputs as if I knew it and yeah, this is what it is, I will go back and double check, is it right? If not, let me get the facts right so that I can deliver on what I have already spoken about. So a lot of it depends on how our mindset is, and is it something that we are focusing on or wanting to be there long term. So when they say that act like you're successful, you'll only be successful if you you fulfill that particular act. Otherwise, the next time nobody's going to take you seriously. The whole thought is it's just that there is no work done towards it. So you can get away with it once or twice.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Anjana. It is about, observing those who are successful around us, maybe in our company, maybe in our society, understand what they are doing, and then following and doing the same in our lives also. And what do all successful people do? We have brought that down into 5 steps. We discussed 2 of them last time, and we discussed 3 more in another session. And the first 2 was recognize the gap where we are and where we want to go. So we took one of our goals and we discussed where we are, where we want to go, and we planned action around that, and taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for our results, not blaming our colleagues for it, not blaming our boss, not blaming government, not spouse, not children, not blaming anybody else, but taking our parents, taking 100% responsibility for our results. Thank you everyone for sharing that. Now we move on to our next session today, which is taking this discussion forward. And just give me a minute. Why is this not moving? And we also discussed about 99 degrees. How we may keep working a lot, but maybe just 1 degree away, like water may be being heated for a long time, stays at 90 degrees, 99 degrees, but just needs that turn of 1 degree to start boiling. So that 1 degree in our case could be a limiting belief. It could be one limiting belief or fear, which we need to overcome and succeed. That is what we are going to talk about in our session today. And we start with this beautiful, very powerful quote from Buddha: "We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts." with our thoughts, we make our world. So this world that we have created is due to our thoughts. Our thoughts have creative power. That is the realization we need, and that's what we are going to explore today. Normally, we have about 50 to 70,000 thoughts every day. And 90 to 95% of those thoughts are in the subconscious mind. We have conscious mind and subconscious mind. And our conscious mind is very small, about 5 to 10%. But subconscious mind is far more powerful. And we don't know what's going on there. We can assume, but we don't know. And we're going to watch this recording, which I shared in the group, but I think many people missed watching it. So we'll take about 10 minutes watching this recording. Even if you watched it earlier, it's good to watch it again because this message is so powerful. The more number of times we reinforce it, the better it will be. And please take notes as you hear Dr. Bruce Lipton. He's one of the foremost authorities in the world in this area. And then we will have a debrief discussion and we will dive into our session.
For an infant. Yet there is a better and faster way. It can change a belief you had your entire life in maybe 15, 20 minutes. Many of them create a state of super learning like you were when you were an infant. Yet there is a better and faster way even. The mind has two parts. The subconscious mind is the original brain, and it can process 40 million bits of data from the environment every second. The mind is very powerful and very fast, but it's totally habitual. It's not creative. It can only play back what it learns. In evolution, the front part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, gives rise to consciousness. It's a small piece of the brain that is consciousness. Self or consciousness is an add-on option, and most people don't exercise the option. But note, it can process only about 40 bits of data per second. The subconscious mind is 1 million times more powerful. While the subconscious mind is fast, the conscious mind is slow at processing. That's why when you're in an emergency or stress, you operate from this one because it can operate fast and handle lots of data. But the difference between the two is this is habitual. It is the conscious mind that is creative and can generate free will. The conscious mind can control anything in your entire body. They used to say there were parts of our body that were involuntary control. But now we know that's not true. Look, for example, yogis can regulate their heartbeat, their blood pressure, or body temperature with conscious mind. So while the conscious mind can only handle a few things, the subconscious mind can do many, many thousands of tasks at the same time. Now, recently, neuroscientists are talking about how your unconscious really shapes your life, your decisions. What they say, according to cognitive neuroscientists, we are conscious of only about 5% of our cognitive activity. Most people, 1% of their day is in the conscious mind. So every day, you create only from your creation mind, your conscious mind, only about 1% of what is going on in your life. And therefore, 95 to 99% of your life comes from your programming in your subconscious mind. So what this means is maybe you were the child in the store and your parents said you do not deserve. 95% of the day, you will sabotage your life to make sure you do not deserve. And the reason why is the subconscious job is to create reality out of the program. And so therefore, if you have negative programming, 95% of the day, you will create that negative experience in your life. Now, here's the problem. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind work together. So whatever the conscious mind focuses on, it can control, but what it's not focusing on, the subconscious mind controls. So most of our day, we are thinking about the future or thinking about the past. That's with the conscious mind. So if the conscious mind's not paying attention to right now, then everything you're doing during the day is being run by the program that you got. But the problem is, because your mind is not, the conscious mind's not paying attention, then it does not see the program being played by the subconscious mind. So most of every day, you are not playing programs that you personally want. You're playing programs that you got from other people, but you didn't see those programs. So when your life doesn't work, you say the universe does not support me. And yet the truth was, it was your own invisible behavior that sabotaged you. So what's important is some people say, well, maybe I just do some positive thinking. Which mind does the positive thinking, conscious or subconscious? The conscious mind, which works at 5% a day with a 40-bit processor. And when you're doing your consciousness, are you paying attention to what's going on? Who's running the show? The experiential programs from the subconscious mind, and that is 95% of the day with 40 million bit processor. Does positive thinking work? Do the math. And the issue is that it's very difficult to take a small processor and overpower the large processor. And you have to use what is called willpower with the emphasis on power to override. Now, here is the second catch, or the second problem. The subconscious mind is like a recorder tape player. It records an experience, and then when you push the button, it plays the experience back. So then we take our conscious mind and we want to talk to the subconscious mind and change the program. Now, think about it this way. You have a tape player, and I give you a cassette with a program. You put the tape in and you push play, and the program is going. You say, I don't like the program. Then you go up to the tape player and you say, change the program, change the program. The issue is the tape will not change by doing that. But there are ways to change the program if you know how to push the record button. So your life does not reflect what you want, it reflects the program you were given. So one way out is consciousness, just be conscious, and then you don't play the tape. A second way out, clinical hypnotherapy, because that puts you back in the same brain state that you were in the learning period. And then you can put a new program and rewrite the tape. Yet there is a better and faster way even. There's a group of new psychology modalities called energy psychology. There are many different versions. For example, holographic repatterning, body talk, EMDR, EFT. The one I am most familiar with is Psych-K, P-S-Y-C-H-K. These programs are like pushing the record button on the tape player. These programs can change a belief you had your entire life in maybe 15, 20 minutes. Many of them, like Psych-K, create a state of super learning like you were when you were an infant. But I'm now going to show you how your thoughts go out and affect your life on the outside. EEG, you put wires on your skin and read the brain activity. MEG, the probe does not even touch the head. You can read your brain activity outside of your head. It's not magic. When a nerve carries a signal, it's like an electric wire. It has an electrical component, and so the electric component can be picked up by electrodes on the skin. But when a wire is carrying a current, it also has a magnetic field around it. The magnetic field passes through the skin. Your thoughts are not contained in your head. The people that you get connected to, you are entangled with. And many people are familiar. If you think about someone or talk about someone you haven't seen for years, and I say, oh, I haven't seen my friend John in 10 years, and the phone rings and it's John. It's like the placebo, nocebo. When you think very positive thoughts of someone, they make an effort to get in touch with you. But it works both ways. If you have a negative thought about somebody, wherever they are, they will create negative talk about you. So it's very important to recognize your thoughts and your judgments are not just connected to you, they're connected to the people you talk about. You are exciting and activating those things in the world that are connected to your thoughts. When a mugger is trying to pick out which person he's going to attack, of the different people walking down the street, which one do you think gets attacked? The one who is most afraid. Because the one who's most afraid will resonate. And that means that the mugger doesn't have to do anything and go boom, and everyone will give him everything.
I'll just pause here for you to read this thought before it goes away. And this is no different from what Buddha was saying, you know. It's just that different people coming up with the same realization. So I would now like to hear from you. What have been, anyone would like to volunteer? What have been your takeaways? Any one or two that stood out for you?
Very powerful, Ashiji.
Hmm.
Absolutely powerful. We all know that, subconscious mind is really, really powerful than the conscious mind. But yeah, a few takeaways from here is subconscious minds is something which shapes your decisions. We think we are consciously taking decisions, but actually our decisions are based out of our subconscious beliefs, thoughts, the programming which he mentions. So decisions taken care by the subconscious mind. So correcting those beliefs, correcting those thoughts are very, very important to have a better decisions in life. And another thing he says is that conscious mind is focusing on now, that is present, but subconscious mind is programmed as per past, and it's also thinking about the future. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just pause you there. So conscious mind is going into past and future because it's the creative mind and it can think and analyze. So, and it can imagine. It's got the creative power, so it's going everywhere. The subconscious mind is only in the present. It doesn't know.
It's the other way around. Understood. And we are always playing this program from the subconscious mind of what our beliefs have been, what our learning have been. And he mentioned specifically, maybe our childhood memories, if we have some of them, and they have created a very larger impact on our mind. It stays with us throughout the life. And the best part about that video is that we can change this program. And this program changing has a couple of options here, which he mentions as Psyche. I would like to learn more about that also. How does that happen? But you have to rewrite the tape. That is what he mentions. And you have to push the recorder button, what he says. So you have to, what you have learned, basically you have to unlearn, and basically you have to relearn. So that is the process we have to do. Thank you.
Beautiful, very beautifully captured, Dr. Abhishek. These are beliefs, these are programs which are running our lives. So we need to become aware of them. And then we need to rewrite to create the kind of life that we want. Of the different modalities that he spoke about, I'm familiar with EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Technique. And if you go on the Mindful Living YouTube channel, you will find videos of sessions we have done on EFT. And even if you Google, you will find many people who do EFT, and I can share some resources in the group, after our session today. So thank you very much for sharing that. Very beautifully captured, Dr. Abhishek. And being a doctor, I'm sure this really resonated with you.
Yeah, actually, there are neuro-linguistic programs
Yeah.
which work, and they are very, very powerful. And a lot of psychologists are using those kind of aspects.
Correct.
And in the success story also, what you think you become
Yeah.
is nothing but you are creating that kind of energy. You're creating that kind of thought, and that positive thought is so powerful that it manifests itself in front of you. It
So
might take some
you see
time.
that it's those electrical signals are going outside of our mind. What was that medical thing he said? How do they record? MEG, where they
Yes,
MEG.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our signals don't stay contained within what we're thinking, doesn't stay contained within us. It is getting transmitted outside. So if you're thinking positive thoughts about somebody else, or you're thinking about a friend and he calls, and if you're thinking negative thoughts about somebody else, they're also thinking negative about you. So that was another interesting piece.
Absolutely, absolutely. So whatever we are sending to the universe
Yeah.
is what is manifesting back
Yeah.
to us. And so why don't we send positive signals only to the universe?
Absolutely.
That is what we have to train our mind for.
Correct.
And many a times, Ashish ji and friends, we see that telepathy happens. We think about somebody, and we receive a call or a mail or a message or a WhatsApp
Yeah.
from that friend, and you're like bewildered. You're like, how did this happen? I thought about that friend, and something. So thought is happening at a very different level. We cannot imagine that.
Yes.
And as you rightly mentioned, 70,000, 1 lakh thoughts in a day. It's not and we hear this, that control your thoughts. I personally believe that it's not easy to control.
Yeah.
Every second, every minute, we have 50s and 20s of thoughts, and which are not controllable. What we have to do is we have to control our subconscious mind and reprogram that, and it will have that effect on the conscious mind also later.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about that.
Sure. Thank you.
I
Yes,
just,
Anjali. Yeah.
I just like to add to this. Probably, I mean, what you're saying is right, difficult to control your thoughts, but what comes up again and again in different aspects, modalities, even in when you're actually looking at meditation, which we can actually apply here, is that when you have a thought, let it come, let it go, don't hold on to it if it doesn't serve the purpose. Because a lot of times what happens is a thought comes and we hold on to it and we start thinking more about that thought.
Yeah.
Right? This is the conscious mind which is doing it, because for it something is coming in, and most of the times it's coming in from the subconscious mind. It's not coming in from the conscious mind.
Sure.
So the subconscious mind puts in that thought, the conscious mind holds on to it. So if you have one is, other than EFT, there are a couple of other modalities, and what it also tells us about how to train your mind is first being aware of what exactly is triggering your mind, right? So it does ask you if there is something that you find consciously on this board, you're not happy that it's happening this way, right? Pick up that and go deep dive to see that what is the trigger that's making you react this way. Because like I said, the subconscious mind is a pre-programmed mind, and the pre-programming comes from us. So there would have been a program written. It may have served the purpose at that point of time, but doesn't serve it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm great for doing it. Once something is done, I dust my hands and leave it. I don't even go and see what it's over. I mean, I have something to do the next minute. But that what is over can come back after some time and do something else to you.
Yeah, it stays, it stays.
It is always said that a mind is like a monkey, because it has so many thoughts. It is so volatile. So bringing it to a stable level, yes, you rightly mentioned meditation is a very, very powerful tool there. Yeah. And one more thing, Anjana, even Buddha has said that, I think Buddha only has said that, like you mentioned, that when a thought is coming to us, don't block it. Just let it process in front of you, and just see what is the importance of that thought, and then let it go. But at times you find even this process, doing this process, very difficult, because the process of whether you have to process that data or you don't have to process that data itself is a challenge, because you don't know whether that is a correct data or not, and in a fraction of a second you cannot take that decision. So blocking is not a solution, that is 100% sure. Making it flow is definitely a process, but whether that's a correct data or not is something, depends again on our subconscious mind, because some beliefs, something from the past is coming to take that decision alive. So I think programming the subconscious mind is something very, very important here.
Very important and very powerful. And that is what we are going to explore in our session today. So let us moving on.
Ashish, I had a query.
Yes, go on.
You said subconscious mind is in the present.
Yeah.
Subconscious mind is only in the present. Yes.
Only in the present. But it's a habitual mind and it operates from the past. Past experiences are being brought forward.
Subconscious mind is operating out of the habit. Yeah.
So how does this resonate, because this is little confusing.
Okay,
so it doesn't let us move in the, make us stay in the present state.
Sorry, come by again, Rosina.
I said subconscious mind is a present mind, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Now, but it is a habitual mind.
Correct.
And it operates from the data stored in his, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what it does is it brings all the past experiences and our past things back, especially those things which are not at all relevant in this present moment. So how can we resonate that?
Okay.
And how can we be just in this present moment?
Very valid thought, Rosina. Just hold on to it. I guess it will get answered in next 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. And in case it doesn't, then you bring it up.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah. So what we have seen and you've observed is that our mind is like a giant computer, and it records everything. And what makes our life run, as Dr. Abhishek very rightly said, are the beliefs which have been ingrained in our mind. And the thing about beliefs is they are assumptions we hold to be true. In the subconscious mind, the questioning mind is the conscious mind. The subconscious mind is not the questioning mind. It just records. So if we type something and then we print it, the printer is not going to check whether what we have typed is right or wrong. It's just going to print. So that way our subconscious mind just absorbs whatever is coming to it, whatever it's observing in the environment, and it records as true. And that's how our life gets guided. Now let us understand the beliefs by answering few of these questions. And I would request you to write down what it comes up for you. More than one response, not just one response, but more than one response, because that will give us options to explore this deeper. Write down what comes for you. Okay. I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever comes up for you. And people are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So, and if anybody is comfortable sharing what is coming up for them, I'll be happy to hear. Quickly, 1 or 2 things that came up both for in response to these prompts. Or look at this. Let's explore this further. What comes up for you? I am always dash, dash, dash. What? I'm always late. I'm always on time. I'm always lazy. I'm always left behind. Or what comes up for you?
For me, it comes as grateful.
I'm always grateful. Beautiful. I am grateful. I'm always grateful. Okay. Just keep writing. Just keep writing. Don't think too much. It's for you. It's not for anybody else. It is for us to understand the programs which are running. So quickly, whatever comes up for you, write that down. Don't process this too much. I am dash and dash can't. So I am an introvert and introvert can't network, or I am a boy and boy can't be weak, or I am a boy and or I am a man, men can't be emotional. Okay. What comes up for you? Or I am a female and female can't uh, do a do jobs. So I was watching this movie yesterday, and there, the ladies in the house don't work. वैसे ही चले आ रहा है. So I'm a lady and lady can't work. Okay, what comes up for you? Be quick, don't process, keep writing. No one is buying what I am selling. No one is buying my ideas. Nobody is buying, whatever. Like, it was shared by Dhruv. This is a belief. I am not educated enough. I am not from IIT. I am not what? I am not good enough. I am not educated enough. I am not tall enough. I am not young enough. So the founder of KFC started his company at the age of 65. So if he would have thought it's too old for me to start a business, he would not have. Or I am not fair, tall, slim, whatever. So these are some beliefs. And these beliefs run our life. Okay. Anybody would like to quickly share what came up for them as a part of this exercise? We're going to go deep dive into this. So anyone quickly would like to share?
So, Shanjana, take it first.
Sorry?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay.
Abhishek, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Anjana. And belief, see how the word is spelled. It has got a lie in it. Okay. It's a lie which we assume to be true. And this is an exercise I used to do, not an exercise, but something which I used to do with foreign dignitaries who would visit India maybe 15, 20 years back, and talk to them about, what they think of India, and then tell them whatever you think of India, the opposite is also true. And that is true for so many things in our life. Whatever we think, the opposite is also true. And so as we discussed earlier, the subconscious mind doesn't doesn't question, it just uh, believes whatever it's being told to the subconscious mind, and it records and makes a program, like he talks about in the uh, audio. Dr. Bruce Lipton says that if your father told you that you don't deserve it, then your whole life, that the subconscious mind does not question. That kid is not questioning whether I don't deserve or not. It just gets written as a program, and the whole life is being created. But the beauty is that you can rewrite the program using the conscious mind. So conscious mind is very small, but it can rewrite the program in the subconscious mind. You can also understand conscious mind by another metaphor or analogy, which is like the Mahavat and the elephant. महात इतना छोटा सा होता है, बट एलिफेंट इतना बड़ा होता है, बट उसको कंट्रोल कर लेता है. कैसे? वो अंकुश थे. वो एलिफेंट तेज चलेगा तो अंकुश मारेगा, ऐसे उसको कंट्रोल करता है. तो वैसे ही हमको अपने कॉन्शियस माइंड से इतने बड़े सब कॉन्शियस माइंड को कंट्रोल करना है. And when we reprogram, we cause the transformation in our life. Okay. And there are 4 steps to this. One is identify the old program. आपका पुराना प्रोग्राम क्या है, ये पता नहीं ना हमको, क्योंकि ये सब कॉन्शियस माइंड में चल रहा है और सब कॉन्शियस माइंड का हमको पता नहीं। तो पहले तो हमको ये पता करना है कि हमारे माइंड में रिकॉर्डेड क्या है। देन वी विल ट्रेस देयर ओरिजिन, कि किसने, मेरे पापा ने बोला, मेरे टीचर ने बोला कि यू आर नॉट गुड इनफ, यू आर नॉट, यू डोंट डिजर्व, या सोसाइटी ने बोला कि आपका ये कास्ट है और ये कास्ट के लोग ऐसे ही कर सकते हैं, या किसने, कहाँ से वो ओरिजिन आया, या मीडिया ने बोला कि इस तरह के दिखने वाले लोग ही सक्सेसफुल हो सकते हैं लाइफ में, या यू नीड टू बी टॉल, यू नो। सो अर्लियर द हीरोज यूज्ड टू बी टॉल because Amitabh Bachchan was tall, and then you have whole lot Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Salman Khan who are not tall. So where is that? If they believe that this is the way to be successful, then they would not have become successful. But the point is, everybody can be successful. So it's a lie. Belief is a lie which is assumed to be true. So we'll look for evidence and then we'll dispute, and that's a process we will go through, and then we will install the new empowering belief. So this is the 4-step process, and this is the exercise we're going to do in next 30 to 40 minutes. So first is, and we will take about 5 minutes, and maybe we'll do a 1-minute mindfulness deep breathing exercise. So please sit still with your back and neck straight. And in this one, we are going to do deep breathing. Normally, we don't do deep breathing, but in this one, we will do deep breathing. And you can breathe into a count of 3 and gradually increase it to 5, 7, or 10. And we will do this for 1 minute, for 1 minute only. And I'll keep the time. All you need to do is close your eyes and gently breathe in fully.
Question,
Yes.
Ashish, a quick question.
Yeah.
This deep breathing, does it have any precautions in the sense before eating or after eating? Is that any relation?
It's okay, Dhruv. It's okay. Do as much as you're comfortable. If you're feeling too full, then maybe you breathe into a count of 1, 2, or 3. फिर उतना ही deep breathing करिए जितना आप comfortable. Don't make yourself uncomfortable. Okay? So breathe into a count of 1, 2, 3, 5. Gradually keep increasing. I am timing you. So breathe in completely. Exhale fully. There's a very simple but very powerful exercise to do a reset. And you can use this as many times in a day to reset your thought pattern. And you can do this anywhere, waiting for a signal, waiting for a lift, waiting for a meeting, with your eyes open or closed. And whenever you're comfortable, you may gently open your eyes and reflect on any patterns that are playing out in your life. The first time I realized it was a pattern that I'm always on time, irrespective of what happens, I'm always on time for my meetings. That was the first time I realized that this is a pattern playing out. What are the other patterns you may have? Do you have to struggle too much for success? Is that a pattern playing out in your life? Do you have to work hard or prove to be loved? What is playing out? What is playing out for you? If you have identified a few patterns for yourself, And you don't have to follow me. You can continue with what, if that is working well for you and you're in the flow, keep writing that. Or if you have got a few patterns, then think of what are you fearful for? As I mentioned earlier, in my case, it was fear of losing a job. What is your fear which is playing out in your life? What are you afraid of? We'll spend a couple of minutes here, so take your time, be easy, and reflect on what you may be avoiding in your life. Are these people who are too loud, or who are introverts, or you're not comfortable dealing with people in authority, so you avoid them? बॉस इधर से आ रहे थे तो हम दूसरी तरफ से कट के चले गए. Or are you avoiding some relatives, some people in your life, some friends? And think of the results that we are creating in our lives, or that are there in our lives. And the ones that are good, the ones that we are conscious of is good. But if there is an area in your life where you're not getting the results, what could that be? Are you always struggling financially, having health issues? Keep reflecting on this for a couple of minutes more. And you may go back and forth with this. And you could do this with a particular area in your life. It could be finances, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga. It could be health, relationships. What are the patterns you have? One of the fear I used to have was money will run out. And that fear didn't have anything to do with the amount of money that I have in my wallet or with me. पर डर रखता था पैसे खत्म हो जाएंगे तो क्या होगा. अभी मेरे पास पैसे होते हैं या नहीं होते मुझे फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता, because I know I'm comfortable. So what is the limiting belief you have about that? Like my father was in a government service and he used to say that private sector में पैसे तो ज्यादा मिलते हैं लेकिन नौकरी चली जाती है. You can be thrown out of your job. And that was a fear I had. And उसकी वजह से I used to overwork and kill myself कि नौकरी ना चली जाए. So what are the programs, what are the beliefs that are running your life? What are the patterns? ये businessmen सारे चोर हैं, There's one common thing we heard, especially those who are in service. या तो ये तो टैक्स चोरी करते हैं, businessmen सारे. I was talking. So things like that. What are the beliefs? So we will never get into business because the businessmen are chore. They're not ethical people. They cut corners. And we may be stopping ourselves from starting out or it is risky, business is risky, or stock market investment is risky, you know, and we may not be investing in stock market and, you know, will have consequences. Yeah, spirituality is for those who have retired, you know, abhi to kaam karne do. So what are the beliefs you have? And if you've got a few, you can, and you want to share, you can let me know. Sindhuja, Rosina. Anyone would like to share anything that came up for them?
In terms of patterns,
I said that.
go ahead, Rosie.
No, both of you have muted yourself. Dhruv, maybe you could start. You were the first one.
Okay. In terms of patterns, I've seen I put a lot of effort, come out with good ideas, actually execute on it. But when it comes to recognition or rewards, I don't get it. So it's like 100 रुपए का काम करा तो 20-25 रुपए मिल जाएंगे. ठीक है, वो 20-25 रुपए भी ठीक है, लेकिन बट जो मेहनत करा उसका रिकग्निशन और पैसा तो नहीं, बहुत कम मिलता है. That's a pattern which I've observed. In terms of avoidance, avoiding people with authority, not knowing what to talk to them when they're in front. So जब सूझता नहीं कि क्या बात करना है, it's better to avoid them. But if I know what I want to talk, I will be able to talk to them. That I've seen. So it's like मुझे सूझ नहीं रहा है मुझे क्या बात करनी है उनसे. So it's better to avoid them rather than just blabber about something in front of them. Another pattern is defying authority. कि बस मैं skip level पे जाऊंगा तो हो चुका है पहले भी कि हाँ, somebody came back saying how can you do this, and over a period of time I've seen slowly I am changing from somebody had posted, I probably Ashish, you only posted in our learning group about fixed mindset versus growth mindset, and I'm being hammered to move towards fixed mindset. Probably it's what, why is that happening? I need to still think about why am I getting into the forced into fixed mindset, but that's the pattern which I'm observing. In terms of fears, fear of job loss, definitely. Fear that I would not be able to do business where it's a lot of people interaction. So those things are coming out in terms of patterns, fears, avoidance. In terms of another pattern which I've seen is जहाँ पे मुझे मेहनत नहीं करनी वहां पे मैं पैसा कमा लूंगा.
जहाँ पे मुझे मेहनत नहीं करनी
वहां पे मैं पैसा कमा लूंगा.
वहां पैसा कमा लूंगा.
हाँ, तो पैसिव इनकम अच्छी तरह से आ जाएगी.
ओके 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 ओके.
डायरेक्ट इनकम उसमें ना रिकॉग्निशन है ना पैसा.
ओके ओके.
तो देयर इज अ पॉजिटिव पैटर्न आल्सो सेइंग हाँ, ये कम मेहनत करके ना करके पैसा आ जाए.
Very nice, very nice. Great insights, bro. Very powerful. Thank you. And I'm sure you would realize how this will help you as we go along. Rosina and Sindhuja, anything coming up for you quickly?
Yeah, I just found out like when you said what are the thoughts that are coming up. So the first thing that happened was like I work, I help others, but they don't value my existence, and I'm underpaid always. And whatever money I'll earn, it will be taken away. It won't stay with me. That is the thing which is there, that is going back of my mind at this point of time also.
Thank you. Very powerful. Thank you for sharing,
So
Rosina.
it's like very, it's like these are the past experiences that are like, popping up every time. If I have to take up a job or anything, but this is the thing. And second most important is like now the tag of being a divorced. The age group. According to that, it has given a lot of challenges for me to go back to the corporate life. That's what is there.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And now let's move on and explore what is it that we can do.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes, Santuja, go on, please. Sir.
I'm sorry, I thought I was next.
Yeah, no, come on.
Yeah, so what I realized is that there are a lot of subconscious thoughts that I kind of, feed myself. It could be on simple activities. Like if I am watching, say, a video on how AI can be used, I would start to think, oh my God, these youngsters are able to do wonders. I mean, I will never be able to catch up. Like, they are from a different generation. They are with a different mindset and skill set. They are like net native. It is just going to be like, impossible to catch up. That then kind of, and I would kind of, feed these thoughts maybe in all other activities also. It could be when I'm trying to learn something, when I'm trying to see something. I'd be like, how are these people doing all this? Or like, more out of wonder. Instead of out of wonder, I will be like, oh, those people are able to do it. That is like, one. And somewhere like, this will also translate into a little bit of fear that I will become obsolete or irrelevant. Though in my rational mind, I know that it will not happen because I'm kind of, doing enough and more efforts to stay relevant in the field that I'm in what I am doing. But sometimes there is a gap between what your mind knows and what your heart tends to kind of, randomly feed without like observing anything. It's like eating whatever is there on your plate without observing whether it is going to like, add value, or is it just junk, or is it just like, something that you're having it for taste. So right now the difference that I'm able to kind of, starkly coming out is the fact that in my mind I know that I need to kind of rephrase a lot, but my heart still subconsciously takes up information in its own language that it knows, of fear, of of not the good kind of wonder, but the wonder like, how is all this happening? These people have made money in like, these many years types. So I'm able to identify that gap between like, what my mind consciously knows and what I'm still doing subconsciously, which is still in my old pattern.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Santuja. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stay a little bit more with those thoughts and understand, where they may be coming from. Like I mentioned earlier, society, family, peers, media, movies, Gen Z, baby boomer, whatever. And sometimes, you may find that there is actually no source. You're not able to identify a source for a limiting belief. And for now, we are focusing on limiting because that is the one we are that is stopping us from progressing in the direction of our goals. So don't worry, empowering is good. So we are not going to spend time on empowering. That I leave to you to do. So look at your limiting beliefs, and you may either be able to put a source to it. Your teacher said you're not good, or whoever else, and see if there is any evidence you have. The mind may be able to come up with evidence, and sometimes it so happens is that there is actually no evidence. We've just believed it. Somebody told us and we believed it. Like, that example that Dr. Bruce Lipton is giving, the father said, you don't deserve it. And there is no evidence that he deserves or not, but he just believed it. So just stay for another 5 minutes or so. For another 4 minutes, it's 10:06 by my watch, another 3 to 4 minutes. Seeing if there is any evidence. And if there is evidence, write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the evidence you have? Or if there is no evidence, it's okay. And what is the source of that? Like there is a belief that milk is good for human beings, but there is so much research now which says that milk actually may not be good for human beings. Okay. So, but because we are brainwashed by media that milk is the source of protein, egg is the source of protein, non-veg is the source of protein, and then we're killing animals, just for the egg of it. So what is that belief? And what is the origin of that belief? And what is the evidence that you have? You may just work on 1 or 2 key ones or 3. But you can continue with this exercise as we move along. I think we'll move on. And now we will move to the part where we will dispute and replace them with positive beliefs. We will rewrite the program. Okay. And here what I would like to share with you is that mind is a very bad master, but a very good servant. Okay. So take 1 limiting belief or 2 for the purpose of our exercise now and session. And see if there is evidence to the contrary. Okay. Like one of the beliefs I had was, I am not from IIT, and hence I can't progress in my career. But then I came across statistics that out of the top 200 CEOs in India, there are very few who are from IIT and IIM. Okay. So is there any evidence to the contrary to your belief that you are holding? Okay. Or the chairman of L&T, whose news recently, is an alumni from my college. Okay. Not IIT IIM, but from SIBM. So what is the evidence to the contrary? Don't sweat if you're not able to come up with too many, but at least if there is 1 evidence or 2, either in your life, it could be evidence to the contrary in your life. So if you think I am a failure, then think of what are the three places where you succeeded. Okay. Or it could be somebody else. If I am fat, who is fat and successful? So then look at that. Disassociate and look evidence to the contrary. Okay. Is this working with you? Quickly, please type in the chat if you are with me so far. And if this is working with you, please type WM with me. Okay, yes, Dr. Abhishek. Okay, Dhruv. Thank you. So I am conscious of the time. I don't want this session also to finish half. So we'll move on. And now we will reframe the limiting belief with a positive affirmation. So if my limiting belief is I am not educated enough, I'll say it could be that I know what I need to know. Or if my limiting belief is that I am not recognized, it could be reframed by saying that I am always recognized for the efforts I put in. I am compensated well and recognized for the work that I do. I am I'm well compensated. I'm recognized very well, and I'm recognized and compensated well for the work that I do. Or my money stays and grows with me. And so you can come up with your own positive affirmation using these guidelines. It should be positive, and maybe you can type in the chat one limiting belief you had and how you are reframing this in the positive. Please share one example in the chat of limiting belief you had previously, anyone, and how you are reframing that. I am prosperous. I am successful. I am recognized for the efforts I put in. I am compensated well. I have a steady job. My income is always increasing. I am clued on with whatever is happening in the technology field. Like some people I read about or hear about are 80 and 90 and working in the area of AI. It's so interesting to see that. Or one of my seniors from college who is 81 batch is into drones. Somebody would be comfortably retired is now doing cutting edge work in the area of drones. So whatever your limiting belief is, please replace that with a positive one. And share, please type in the chat one limiting belief you had and how have you replaced that with a positive affirmation. I have a secure job. It can be many positive affirmations. You don't have to be restricted to one. I am financially stable. And what was the limiting belief earlier corresponding to that, Anjana? Please share both the limiting belief and the how you're replacing that with the powerful one. And if there is any doubt, you can unmute yourself and discuss, if you have any doubt about how to frame a positive one. Okay. Yeah. I'm prosperous. I have more money than I can spend or invest, that can be another one, Anjana. Yeah. I am deeply appreciated for the work that I do. I am deeply appreciated for the work I do and well compensated. Rosina, yours could read like that one. Okay. Yeah. 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 It can be without, but Dr. Abhishek, I am building my karmas for a better future. Because there is a risk with but, it may cancel everything what is after but. Okay. So you can make that into two statements if you like. So, and you can continue to work on this and share in the group, in our learning groups, SLP group, or with your accountability partners or one-to-one with me. that this was my limiting belief and this is my positive affirmation. I'll be happy to continue to support you for as long as you want. Not only for this session, but as long as you want. Okay. And I've got like, if you want, I can share a library with you, but library of positive affirmations, but I don't want to do that because it may overwhelm you. Okay. But have you got a sense of what we are doing with this now? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you, Dhruv. I'm deeply appreciated for the work I do and I'm compensated well. Yeah. Reads better, Rosina. Okay. And this is my favorite one, the best one, which I have been writing daily for more than 10 years. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. This comes from a French psychologist, Emile Coué, who I think came up with this in 1908. And it has been tested in a hospital with patients. So the patients who would write this or chant this every day in every way, I am getting better and better, actually got better. So this is a very powerful one, works well. And now we come to the final part, which is installing new beliefs. Okay. So we identified limiting belief, and that can be an ongoing process. And I keep with me something called thought pad, and I would encourage you to do that. Have a separate thought pad where you can write down your limiting beliefs. And typically I write down a limiting belief in red color, and then I reframe that with an empowering belief in a green color. So have a thought pad, and that is one of the habits to install the new empowering. First, you have to capture and second, commit to developing the habit of doing regular affirmations. So I've talked about magical success rituals, and I have certain success rituals which I do before 9 a.m. every day and we will talk more about that in the magical success rituals program. But the point time being is set a time for yourself. It could be while driving, you could record and play it, or write it, whatever you want to do. And it is better if it is multisensorial, in the sense that if you're writing it is one, if you're writing and reading aloud is another one, or just reading is also, because you're seeing and reading aloud, which is auditory. So multiple, how much ever you can make it multisensorial, it is better. So this is how we install it, reading, writing. And then you can put them in place where they are in front of your eyes always. So this is a picture of my desk. Okay, so I have these on my desk. I'm an excellent money manager. I create my life. I'm playing the money game to win. You can have your own. This was given to me by Success Resources, and I have them. And if you want something similar from me, I'm happy to create one, or I can share these with you. Let me know whichever way. So be active in the SLP group. Let me know how I can assist you and support you in this journey. But the point is, put them somewhere where you can see it. And this is something which I often hear from people, and this is a practical challenge. यार विश्वास नहीं हो रहा, या मैं कैसे विश्वास कर लूं कि मैं सक्सेसफुल हूं या मेरे पास बहुत सारे पैसे हैं, क्योंकि एविडेंस जो हम देख रहे हैं इज ऑपोजिट टू दैट. So one of the ways to do is you can, अगर आपको बिल्कुल ही conviction नहीं आ रहा, so you can say I am willing. Okay, you can make your positive affirmations starting with I am willing. I am willing to be open to love, or I am willing to be open to receive money. I am willing to be open to receive recognition. So वो कर सकते हैं. नहीं तो हमारा माइंड उसको वो कर देता है, एकदम रिजेक्ट कर देता है, ये तो होएगा ही नहीं. तो क्या है, हम पॉजिटिव एफर्मेशन कर रहे हैं दिन में एक बार, बट 10 बार वो नेगेटिव रिकॉर्ड चल रहा है कि नहीं ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है यार, तुम तो पढ़े लिखे इंसान हो, ऐसा थोड़ी ना होता है. तो वो रिड्यूक्यूल कर, आपका सबकॉन्शियस माइंड ही आपको रिडिक्यूल कर रहा है. तो उसको रिडिक्यूल करने के लिए आप उसको पहले तो अवेयरनेस हो जाओ कि ये रिडिक्यूल होता है. बट देखिए, हमने शुरू कहाँ से किया था, गौतम बुद्धा बोल रहे हैं कि आपके थॉट्स ही आपकी दुनिया क्रिएट कर रहे हैं. अब ये चॉइस आपकी है कि आप अपने नेगेटिव थॉट्स से दुनिया बनाओ या आप अपने पॉजिटिव थॉट्स से दुनिया बनाओ. तो नेगेटिव में तो बहुत जल्दी आसान विश्वास हो जाता है, पॉजिटिव पे मुश्किल होती है थोड़ी. तो बी अवेयर दैट इट इज रिडिक्यूल्ड. सेकंड, इट विल ओपोज and finally it will accept us. अरे यार ये तो होना ही था, मैं तो टॉपर हूँ, टॉपर ही होना था मेरे को, और ही जो भी आपको लाइफ में एक्सेप्ट once it happens. Okay. And there is a very nice story about a Brahmin who was walking down the jungle with a goat. उसके ना एक बकरी होती है जिसको उसको बेचना होता है, तो वो सोचता है चलो मैं ये बकरी को बेच दूंगा, इससे पैसे मिल जाएंगे। और वहां पे जंगल में जहां से जा रहे होते हैं वहां पे 3 चोर होते हैं। तो वो चोर देखते हैं कि ये बकरी लेके आ रहे हैं ब्राह्मण, तो इनको बकरी की चुरा लेते हैं, फिर हमारा एक अच्छा सा मील हो जाएगा। तो वो जब ब्राह्मण जा रहे होते हैं तो पहला वाला जाता है और ब्राह्मण को बोलता है कि ये क्या आप मरी हुई बकरी क्यों लेके जा रहे हो? तो ब्राह्मण उसको मजाक उड़ाता है, अरे क्या बोल रहे हो यार, तो मरी हुई कहाँ है, ये तो जिंदा है। तो फिर ऐसे आगे चले जाते हैं। फिर दूसरा मिलता है तो वो बोलता है, अरे ब्राह्मण जी आप मरी हुई बकरी क्यों लेके जा रहे हो? तो बोलता है अरे क्या मरी हुई थोड़ी ना है, उसको वो डिनाई करता है। एंड फिर ऐसे थोड़े दूर और जाते हैं तो फिर तीसरा आदमी चोर मिलता है, उनको बोलता है, क्या हुआ ब्राह्मण, आप मरी हुई बकरी क्यों लेके जा रहे हो, इतना बड़ा पाप कर रहे हो आप, नहाए धोए हो सुबह ही क्यों? एंड देन ही सेज, अरे रे रे क्या हो गया मेरे से, मरी हुई बकरी, वो उठा के फेंक के चले जाता है। सो ही लूजेस हिज बकरी एंड दे गेन द बकरी, उसका फिर काट के बढ़िया मीट वो नाश्ता करते हैं। तो ये प्रोसेस हर तरीके से होता है, अलग अलग। बहुत पुराने टाइम से भी ये हमारे उसमें टेल्स में ये
जकाता
कम्युनिकेट।
टेल्स,
सॉरी,
जकाता टेल्स।
हाँ जातक टेल्स, कि उसमें ये कम्युनिकेट करते हैं कि लाई इफ इट इज रिपीटेड ऑफन इज एक्सेप्टेड ट्रू। तो अगर आपका ये बिलीफ जो है ये लाई भी है तो आप उसको रिपीट करते रहो और वो एक दिन ट्रू हो जाएगा। सो जस्ट कीप रिपीटिंग, दैट इज वन पावरफुल थिंग। एज आई मेंशन्ड अर्लियर, पुनः पुनः कीप रिपीटिंग। एंड so we will recap now. We have about another 5-10 minutes we'll take to recap. So the first one, our thoughts have creative power. We saw Gautam Buddha's quote on that. Then we saw that we are not conscious enough because a lot of these thoughts, thousands of thoughts go on in our subconscious mind, and they are running our lives. You know what is there in our subconscious mind. Then we saw the how can we uncover, you know, those, we saw the 4 steps, how we can uncover and realize what those patterns are which are running our lives, and by how, by changing our thoughts and beliefs, we can change our lives. All right. So I'll quickly let you take 2 minutes to reflect on your notes, and then we will invite you to share your takeaways from the session today. And if you already have got your takeaways and you're ready to go, you can just raise your hand and we will like to hear from you.
It's very interesting. You mentioned Ashish Kunha Kunha, or that similar sounding word. A friend of mine just Friday night told me, saying, same mantra, some book, Hindu scripture, it is mentioned, and he said, it's same, Rishi Muni ne yahi bola hai, bas fake it till you make it. And I'm like, yes. And he was talking about business, saying, Dhruv, let's do business on AI. So it's like, to me, it's like the universe is telling Dhruv, refine your thought. Don't be getting stuck on that negativity, saying, what जो हो रहा है होना है, तुम क्या कर सकते हो वो देखो.
Yeah.
So the thoughts, creative thoughts, there's this theory, I'm forgetting the term, physics की latest, not latest, but it is now being popularized about what you imagine you can actually do it. Theory of sorry, going blank on that name of the theory, but it's like you imagine, and there's what you see in the real world is physical world is just 1% of what is there in terms of energy. There's 99.99% energy which is still untapped. Create your own world from that other energy. Don't get sucked into that 0.001% energy से जो physical world है उसमें वही you're getting stuck with your emotions. Overcome that belief. This thought process which you just mentioned of identifying, the most important is identifying. Once you identify, human being is wired to find solution. Identifying the problem is where the human brain is not very good at. Even identifying targets, the human brain is not good at. When I look back in terms of patterns, स्कूल में कॉलेज में हमेशा अच्छा रहा परफॉर्मेंस, क्योंकि उसमें गोल था कि बस एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर यू हैव टू अचीव good marks. It works even in the lower and middle level of management, because you know your target is to achieve so and so and you're good. But when you don't have a target, you have to create your own target and define your objectives. That's what I'm thinking is what is limiting me now. What brought me here is not the same thing which would take me to the next level. Just my thoughts of from
Thank
this
you.
session.
Thank you for sharing that, Dhruv. And I hope and pray that this thinking and clarity will help you break through and move forward to the next level that you plan to. So thank you for sharing that. And whom would you like to call on next, Dhruv?
My accountability partner, Anjana.
Okay.
Thank you, Dhruv. So, what I've realized with this and the earlier time I did this was that people do say things which is beneficial to them, not particularly harmful to you. Okay, they're protecting themselves when they're saying things, but they say it so often, like that when you hear it and the meaning for you is different. Like, for example, you could say that you are not a good driver. I had this situation with my brother and myself. Our age groups are small. He wanted to drive more than me when we started learning. So he would do everything to make sure that I didn't have a chance to drive, and he had that chance to drive, including go back and tell my mother, Ma, you don't know she went into the estates. He would be sitting at the back of the bike and he'll be doing all his monkey tricks. He's heavier than me. Imbalance, he would put off the fuel pipe on the uphill slope, and then he'll go and complain, she didn't know how to drive. She did this. So then the next time my mom said, okay, can she manage this, or should I give her an easier option? Do it well, drive in this space and not in this space. And when he realized that sometimes these tricks were working for him, that he got to ride both ways, he started increasing till I realized what he was doing. Okay. But if you let that, if you actually believed in it and you didn't realize that there was a problem and what the problem was, then you land up thinking that you are incapable of successfully riding a bike. Because the incidents were serious. It is like, suddenly you're going uphill and there is no fuel and you have somebody else who's trying to unbalance you, you're going to have a toss. You get hurt, you don't want to get back on the bike again, you will not ride again. And now, like, a couple of years down the line, like, about 10 years ago, I was saying, this is what, he's like, yeah, I'm sorry I did it, but I wanted to ride, okay? So I said, you should just told me straight, no, you wanted to ride, okay? You do 75% of the riding, you do 25% of the riding. Instead of making, and then he would tell these stories to everybody, including my husband, saying that she doesn't know how to ride. He did this for 15 years. The last 5 years, he owned up to what he did. And so it's just, I was just thinking about, what happened, what he mentioned, what he spoke to others, just because you wanted the birth time. And people's perceptions also change, saying that, oh, she can't drive. And then they're fearful of letting you drive. And then you start believing you can't drive, but then you're still driving. You haven't killed anybody. You haven't got damages to the, damages to the car. I'm just saying, and then, so I could have, like, there's one way of saying that, yes, I'm a good driver, and then I become a good driver. Is one affirmation that, sets your path to that line. The other thing is identifying why it happened. It was not your doing that you were tagged a bad driver. And you're seriously not a bad driver. So understanding our limiting beliefs and going back to the roots will actually help us a lot. And sometimes just, understand that when somebody else is giving you that experience, it may not be to damage you, but it may be to further their cause. A lot of times we take it personally, saying that it is to damage us. And that's when, the past programming stays, that to prevent yourself from that hurt, you don't want that situation to happen again. So anything that looks like that similar situation, your subconscious mind puts up a protective wall. And a lot of this, when we say, like, let's say I don't have sufficient money. We've grown up seeing parents, okay, who have the money, but who don't have surpluses, because that era was very different. People didn't live on credit. They saved the money to build the house. They saved everything to spend, right? There was nothing like getting money in advance. Today is very different. We monetize our future earnings also. And then, we have current liquidity. But the minute our work life gets over, or, the income generating life gets over, if you don't have a passive income, that's where we fear that we won't have enough money, my money will get over, because you know how you're running your life right now. So the bigger fear is when I'm not a credit asset, people won't give me money. And then what if I need money? Right? Because we're stuck between two things. We've seen somewhere where money is spent very limitedly. But then they had all their assets by the time they reached 60, and they lived a simple life. So for us, we need to understand the two situations and tell our mind, or reset it, saying that we're okay. You don't have to panic. I mean, I don't need all my assets by 60, and I don't need a monthly pension to come after that. It's all there. And just because I think that, you shouldn't have money left over in your hand doesn't mean I spend everything. Because you're doing it to yourself, because you believe that you shouldn't have that money after, you'll blow it up. Or somebody from the universe will come and ask you for the money and not give it back to you.
Yeah. So you see how powerful these beliefs are, Anjana, and I think that's a very powerful examples that Anjana has shared with us. And I guess each one of us should deep dive into our own limiting beliefs, where they come from, who motivated them, what was the motivation behind them, and how we have accepted them to be true. It's a complete lie, right? Somebody fabricated it for their own advantage. And think it in terms of media, think in terms of politicians, think in terms of teachers, everybody who is trying to directly or indirectly control us for their own benefit and creating us into something which suits their purpose, not our own thing. So that is where conscious living becomes so important, that we identify what we want and then we work towards that. So thank you for sharing that, Anjana. Very beautiful, very powerful. And whom would you like to call next?
Rosina?
Thanks, Anjana. The same example is with me as well. It's like my brother is a doctor, top ranker, and I was always a dumb. That's the way it's been always portrayed right now as well. And my mom used to say कि तू SSC pass कर ली उतना उतना हमारे लिए अच्छा है. And when I just joined for my MBA studies and everything, and she's like, you have gone so far. I didn't we never thought of. And still that belief is there, like, it's, you have done so many things. You were into IT, you have done this, you have done that. Now you're shifting your field. Now you're moving ahead. And those belief systems are like, they are, it's been imposed so much that, I'm like holding back myself to move ahead and, do something which I really enjoy. So that's what I have seen. And yes, there is, to certain extent, I have worked on myself. I have started using affirmations and various healing modalities to heal myself. But still, somewhere those little bits of pinches are there, and I hope this program will really help me out to come out of it. Thank you so much, and I'll hand it over to Abhishek, Dr. Abhishek.
Yeah, just before that, Rosanna, did your question get answered? Which I said will get answered later during the session.
No.
So could you repeat your question again?
I said subconscious mind is a present mind that we say.
Correct.
But it's a habitual mind and it operates on the past experiences.
Correct.
So how it becomes a present? Because it always take you back into the past.
It's not taking back into the past. It doesn't know past or future, Rosina. It's just a program which is there. The program may have happened in the past, okay? But the body takes it as it is present. So subconscious mind is not actually in the mind. When we think of mind, we think of brain. But the subconscious is ingrained in your body. And the body lives only in the present. The body does not know past or future. The program may have come from the past, but it lives it as present. Okay. If think of a trauma that may have happened. The body is still responding. The trauma may have happened 10, 20, 30 years back, but body still responds to it as if it happened now. Okay. Or the impact of that, is still the same.
And the worst thing of that is like we are ready to move out of it and we have moved out of it. But the people surrounding you will never let you do that. They will just drop you back into it. Like it's like pulling and putting back into that well again.
No, Rosina, for a situation like this, the people around you look at how you react to a situation, not react, how you act, right? And if you act like whatever, like for example, you said you're single again, that you have accepted the fact happily that you're single, you're moving ahead, and you have no issues being single, all the people around you will react the same way. If you're defensive, because people make you defensive, कि ये नहीं होना था. I'm just saying, sorry, but it may be a little personal.
Agreed. No.
ये नहीं होना था, and you're like, हाँ, लेकिन हो गया ना. Instead of that, if you take a different, just put that in a different set of words and tell them, कि I'm happier now and I'm good in this space. They will not have that same response. The words they put for the same thing, for their same emotion, will be different.
Okay.
And the minute that happens, right, the entire energies change.
Got it. Thanks, Anjana.
Thank you, Anjana, for sharing that. Over to you, Dr. Abhishek.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of thoughtfulness right now in the mind. We have been doing this in bits and pieces. Positive affirmations. Cutting off on the past beliefs which are wrong. Understanding a lot of things from multiple social media sources or some motivational speakers. But I think what happens today is a very systematic. I always mention it in every video. Every session, that you are giving us a very systematic approach. Like you first identify the old program, you trace the origin, you replace them with positive affirmations, and then you install new ones. So So doing it in a systematic way is something which I'm doing new right now. Otherwise, I think in bits and pieces on all these aspects we have been working in some percentage. So I'll not take much time. I don't have any examples to give right now, but thanks for the examples from other friends here. A lot of learning from that. What I liked is that think like a successful person and you act like one. That is what I loved. And every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I just loved it. I just want to print it in front of me.
Yes.
So, of course, really powerful, very, very powerful. And the more we repeat it, we say that these affirmations, there are a lot of healers who say that, you write it down, because the more senses you use into it, you look at it in front of you every time, you write it down, you think about it, you feel it. And the more senses you use, the more powerful it will embed in your mind. So that embedding is what we have to do. And I would just read in the end, I would read one shloka, or the meaning of that shloka about learning. Rama taught us to be simple and great through his life. Krishna taught us to be spiritual and wise. Vyasa Muni taught us to always be Gita based, follow the Gita, the learnings and paths of Gita. All of these have taught us to be fine and very fine every day. So you become better and better every day is what, even our spiritual books are saying.
Very nice. Please share it in the group also, Dr. Abhishek. That'll.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you could share, since you know the shloka well, if you could just record the shloka, then we're hearing the right syllables.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And you would like to call on Sindhuja?
Absolutely, she's the only one.
Yeah.
Sindhuja.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Abhishek. So for a very long time, I've kind of, held a belief that good things just don't happen to me. Like, this was a mindset. Good things happen to everybody else. And there was no specific example or evidence to it. Like if I were to kind of, not look at this notion in a broad stroke and think of it with good things with respect to what? With respect to career, with respect to relationships, with respect to money. What am I talking about? I would never be able to pinpoint. But I had this overall overwhelming notion that good things just don't happen to me. And this eventually became a mindset. मेरे साथ तो कुछ अच्छा नहीं होता है. So, and this mindset made me approach all opportunities with hesitation and expecting disappointment rather than success. And because of this, any success that I achieved, I would kind of, downplay that. Because the predominant thought was good things don't happen to me. Any success, any recognition that comes my way, anything that I achieve, I would kind of, downplay that. Ha, itna kiya, and I got this. So I would not be like, I would not play that to its true sense. So from today's session, I think the most important thing is to kind of, shift the perspective to believing that one, I deserve good things. Identify that there are a lot of good things that are happening, valuing those, and believing that good things will continue to happen to me. Like, the universe is like, programmed in such a way that it will continue to happen to me. I think, like, one, accepting that good things are happening, recognizing that myself, counting your own blessings, and saying that whatever is going to happen in the future is also going to be good because of the efforts that I will place in. So that would be my takeaway today.
Thank you. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Sindhuja. And on that happy note, friends, we will draw our session to a close today. Have a wonderful weekend. Yes.
Ashish, just one
Yes.
thing. Next 3 Sundays will be little skeptic for me. Whether I'll be there, but I won't be in a position to participate. The reason being is like we'll be having. I have to rush for prayers at 10:30 in the morning. So I'm not sure that whether I'll be able to attend or I'll be able to participate. If I'll be online, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to participate 100% at that point of time.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Thank you.
giving us a heads up.
Thank you.
And continue working on this. Identifying
Yes.
limiting beliefs is something that is a lifelong journey. It just keeps coming up. And then every time a limiting one comes, replace it, and life keeps getting better and better every day in every way. Thank you. Stay connected with your
One
Dhruv.
thing quickly I want to share. So one of my action items which I had made up for me probably 4 weeks back or so is like, how do I improve my health? And I said, जिम में जा नहीं रहा हूँ. जिम बहुत दूर नहीं है, 2 फ्लोर दूर है.
तो
2 floors away.
अच्छा
But I'm like, कौन जाएगा? And I was like searching for a easy way out or easier way out. जिम में आधे घंटे 1 घंटा करना. So then I came across this idea of क्या होता है मतलब पहलवान लोग यूज करते हुए ऐसा घुमाते हैं.
Yeah.
मुद्गल या ऐसे कुछ
Mudgal.
बोलते
I
हैं.
have tools behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And interestingly, so this happened again on Thursday. So Thursday was a transformation for me this week. Just a street away, the Mudgal shop guy had parked his truck selling Mudgals. I said, "यार ये बहुत अच्छा है मेरे लिए." My wife calls me up. She was driving past that road and said, "तुम्हें चाहिए था ना? है वो जाके ले लो." And I like, okay, ये मेरे को करना है. And it just happened. I bought it, started practicing it, and I realized उससे मैं अगर मैं आधे घंटे जिम कर रहा हूँ उससे ये 5 मिनट में वो हो जाएगा. इट्स अ शॉर्टकट, बट मेरे को 2 फ्लोर्स भी नहीं जाना पड़ेगा और 5 मिनट में वो सब हो जाएगा जो मेरे को आधे घंटे जिम करने के बाद होता है. So it happened.
Very nice, very nice. And
Best
that
part is
intention.
that
Yeah.
best part is that we are all taking actions.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful transformation happening.
Amazing.
Correct,
So-
correct, exactly.
Thank you for sharing.
But you started using or not?
Yes, I
That's good.
actually started feeling
He's
the
going to give us a
pain.
demonstration.
Yeah, please
Give
do.
us a demo. Yeah.
ये
I was
5
asking
मिनट की एक्सरसाइज करके मेरे को दर्द हुआ जो मैं आधे घंटे जिम करने से होता था.
that. Okay, let's do
So
it
I
then.
have it with
Oh
me in
my.
front of
Wow.
This,
Oh, wow.
this is a
This one.
big one. This is what, 5 kgs or 8?
6 kgs.
6 kgs.
So I was like, कैसे करते हैं पता नहीं. तो that guy himself told me, बस तुम्हारे लिए कौन सा साइज रहेगा. And I like, okay, let me do it. So here's this. हाथ का किस टाइप से घुमा रहे हो उससे होता है फर्क. So this is a very, very shortcut way.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Just be mindful, Dhruv, when you're doing that. Don't get caught up in thought process. वो सिर में कभी गलती से लग गया ना तो बहुत रिस्की होता है.
हाँ.
So you need to have full attention. काम सोचते हुए मत करना.
Yes. जो
So-
डंबल्स कर सकते हैं ये नहीं कर सकते उससे. मल्टीटास्किंग है ही नहीं, पॉसिबल नहीं है.
So be completely mindful. Great.
Plus, it might not be working on all muscle groups in your body. Being from a healthcare background, I'm telling you, it might not be if you're not doing it in a proper way. Anjana, you want to say something?
Yeah, there's actually a person from Hyderabad. Courtesy the COVID, they take very limited people online. It's a combination of offline and online. And the Mudgal series, the set of exercises or what they do, repetitions, right? There are different things to handle different parts of the body. Also,
Yeah.
that the way you move the hand and the freeness, please do a warm up before you start the Mudgal.
Very right. Very right.
Or you can have a super hot water shower for 5 minutes and start it. That's another shortcut if you don't want to do warm-up, because your muscles otherwise are very tight and then you could damage them.
Now, I would still recommend Dhruv, you take those 2 floors and go to the gym.
And take the Mudgal with you.
Yeah, that will be even better.
It was even difficult for me, because I am a runner and I am a cyclist. So I always wanted to do something outside because we have a fresh air coming in, and there's a lot of energy in that. But lately I'm not able to do cycling and running. I'm a swimmer also. So, but then I started that, for me, shortcut was gym. So from outer world, I came to the inner world of gym inside the 4 blocks, and you have to habituate, that it's a habit creation. Once you are very strong in that habit creation, and you wake up early, you go there, and you'll feel the results very immediately. The oxytocins and all the positive hormones flowing in, and creating a beautiful day for you. Exercise is the best thing to be done early in the morning. So I think that habit creation will really, really help you, and I will still recommend those 2 floors.
And Anjana, if you can share that series of videos, online
I
videos.
will. I'll get it from my friend and I'll share it, because she started doing this and now she does the double Mudgal.
Wow.
Wow, beautiful.
Man, that's so cool. And Dhruv, you have motivated me to pick up my own, they have been like that. So I'll pick it up and I'll share, my success in the next week with Mudgal. So thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll draw the session to a close. Stay actively involved with your accountability partners and stay active in the group. Please keep sharing your takeaways, your successes, challenges in this group and in the mindful living group also, so that more people are motivated. And in fact, that is something I would like to request you. If you have friends you think will benefit from these sessions, invite them to join. We are done with only one LSD so far. TPOS is half done, but we have a long journey ahead of us.
Yeah.
So if you think there is someone who will benefit, please extend them an invitation to join, and we'll be happy to welcome them and share the recording of the previous one with them. All right. So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend and a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.